Hello, guys. A little pressed on time tonight, so we're gonna skip the music and we're gonna go a little bit quicker than usual. Hopefully, I'll have plenty of time to answer all of your questions, but a little bit more pressed on time. Can I get a quick confirmation? You guys can hear me all right? You guys can see my screen? All right. Awesome. All right, well, we'll get straight into it. I mean, we've already discussed everything that we would like to see happen this week in this week's outlook, and it happened exactly. I wanted to see Monday retraced into the range. Which range specifically? We were discussing this range. Did we return into a premium? Well, yes, we fucking did. Is there anything more to add there? No, we can now look for a continuation, right? So we had our retracement on Monday. Tuesday, we'll frame a continuation lower. We discussed in the outlook, our targets are very specific, very clear and defined. We are just waiting for these to be met. So going into the day here on Tuesday, and with 10 a.m. news, I was looking for just a very nice expansion lower. Now, the overnight price action was very easy for me. Why do I say this? We had the London framework and we accumulated and slowly dove higher. So I can frame all of this as accumulation and then frame this run higher of London as our manipulation of the day. Why can I have absolute trust in this? Because of the SMT that is formed with not previous day's highs, with London highs. You can see on ES here that these levels were not met on that 8 a.m. run, just like they were on NASDAQ. So we have SMT, we have a London framework. Our higher time frame direction is to go lower, and we have clear relative equal lows that we can target along the way. I will keep these levels on our chart just so we know what we're going to be targeting intraday. But these were the two levels I was going to be mainly targeting after reaching London low. And then we had a lot of defense. So I did not expect it to be able to go much further than that. But as you can see in the PM session, we actually had a lunch raid, right? Another range framework to go lower, which succeeded. So we'll look at that as well. A lot of different things there. Also, important to note, I was going to be waiting until 10 a.m. to trade. Why? Because we had 10 a.m. news. What was it today? PMI, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, waiting to trade until 10 a.m. was the only reasonable thing to do. Now, if we look right here, and I'll bring the mark to 10 a.m., all of these unsuccessful short, well, this one gave you an entry actually. So 10:01 would have given you a beautiful entry to go short on a unicorn. So not much to add there. This is not the trade I personally took. So I'm actually kind of surprised to see it there. I missed that this morning, but it's very nice to see that worked. I want to test something out because now we have 10 a.m. news, so we don't want to see this one, right? So that's what I like to do on the indicator. Just adjust those settings to the news, what I want to see. Very beautiful 10:01 entry right there. Through PD array stop loss rule, you have your entry PD array. So inversion fair value gap. And then this has yet to be a fair value gap. So order block. Your stop would be all the way up here. Unless this is this a fair value gap? It is a fair value gap. So your stop would actually be up here. Inversion fair value gap, order block, all of them incline within this. So included, sorry, is the word I was looking for. Now, of course, you're always looking to take profit when you're near that 2R mark. At least that's what I like to do. And you have a very clear current low of session, however you want to call it. Very easy partial here at 2.5R. Pretty straightforward. Would you say that the breaker at the open was a valid short? We had SMT at the highs. So what you're saying is due to this Judas swing with SMT, right? Was it right here? I believe it was. Yes. So there's SMT here. So you can frame this as a Judas swing. Take the short right at the open here. I'll bring it back so we can see it. Would I say it is a valid short? Yes, but to where? That's the question. Is this a valid setup? Sure, but to London low. After that, you have nowhere to target and no reason to believe it's going to keep going. This is the move you're framing. So this would not be a valid rise model entry because it does not offer enough risk to reward to your objective, which would be London low. And moreover, your objective is already taken. So this could be the type of entry where I'm entering, and as soon as I'm in profit, I go break even. But these are gambling trades. That's the truth. Those are the trades that I go half risk and don't mind taking it. Yeah, I also have some lower liquidities that are objectives, but these are not frameworks. That's what I'm trying to focus on. So this trade is based off the news. So now I have my framework. My framework tells me that the news is, well, won't need to manipulate because we already manipulated previously, but the news will generate a move. The news will make it so we need to go there. And now where are we going? Well, now we have clear objective because we formed a range. We're ready to reverse. But if you want to keep it simple, yes, it is a valid entry framework, just no clear objective. So would it be a good loss? It's something I categorize in the middle. It's very on the edge, this setup. But for me, it's not a trade I was looking to take because London low was already taken and nothing was there to tell me that we are ready to go lower right away. That's the only thing I was looking for. But I wouldn't blame anyone that took that short. Anyways, if you lost an R there, you make it back here, beautiful partial, and then of course, am I going to be holding this? Well, yes, of course, and first objective is here, second objective is here. Would I hold a runner past this? No, that's the truth. So would I have missed out? 100%, right? Missed out on probably almost 100 points more, but I'm happy with those. Why would I have taken it off here? Because after this low, it has a lot of defense, and it has no reason to go lower today. So as an intraday trader, very happy with 7.6 R on my final contract. That is my personal opinion. That is not the trade I took, as I told you guys in the beginning. I actually took the continuation off of that. So just before that partial objective was met, I took this entry right here. I missed the first one, did not even spot it actually until just now. I think I said it. I had my stop all the way at the highs right there, was feeling pretty confident. Now, since it did not offer enough risk to reward at this area, what I did is just go break even. So I entered here, went break even, and now you have this right here. Very straightforward trade in this area. Would have offered a lot less R than that first entry, as I said, that I missed, but still a very good trade, very good continuation to that final move. Did not hold a runner. Did you trade yesterday, Ollie? I did not. Only looking to trade this week. If ever you're questioning it, just go look at my announcement. I said I'd be looking to trade Tuesday and Thursday with a possibility of trading Wednesday. And after today, I will not be trading Wednesday. Very straightforward. So always looking to trade on days with high impact news. Shared this framework multiple times before. And as I said previously, if you just open a ticket, I will send that PDF once again. That is no longer available through X. But this was the trade I took. Of course, this trade was a much better entry that would have allowed for the same move to have way higher return, but that is not the move I took personally. Is my breaker indicator? Okay, no, we just didn't have a lot of bullish breakers formed with my settings today. And if we look at this, would this be a valid short? No, because now all your targets are met. The only way you can have a valid short, after this move, let me just change these to actually be lines instead so they don't continue endlessly is the word I was looking for. The only way you can have a valid short is if you have another framework once again. And the only time you have another framework is with the lunch rate. So right here, also pretty perfect here, aligns with the 4-hour open of the PM session, right? The 2 p.m. open where you can frame the formation of the 4-hour candle into an open, high, low close. Soon as lunch high is taken, you're looking for a short. First breaker to form, well, actually both of these breakers we see were formed on the same candle right here, as you can see from this indication. And you had literally a picture perfect, almost no drawdown, one ticket drawdown right here, entry with a very nice tight stop loss, right? Inversion fair value gap, order block, fair value gap right here, had the fair value gap candle. And once again, the lunch rates coming in clutch for some very high returns. Now, if I'm seeing this, I feel like these are always during the lunch rates that we see this, but right here, look at all these swing lows. Price is going to accelerate through those. Low resistance, low resistance, low resistance, right up until this point. Then this is my partial. Because I have no reason to believe that price will stop there. So very nice partial here, 4.2R, and a final take profit here, no reason to hold a runner, is 6.5R. Now, if you did hold a runner, you would have had a little better return, but for me, after a framework like that, once again, no reason for me to hold. Longed before 10 a.m., well, I mean, there was some things, right? This is a unicorn that would have granted some profits. For me, there was no reason to go long at all. As I said, I started this review doing it a little bit quicker tonight, guys. Sorry about that, but I am on a busy schedule for the night. But what I said is that from the higher time frame perspective, all the way from the daily and everything that we discussed in the weekly outlook, in case you're not familiar, you can definitely go back on YouTube and watch that. But we were bearish for today. So even with the daily structure and then the London framework, and even after the London framework, you can look to trade retracements, but I would never look to trade an expansion higher. That would just be against my trading system overall. So sorry about that, Vito, but some people might have been bullish today. Ollie making it look easy. I'm glad I am. For me, it was really just a question of shorting any one of the setups. I mean, even this one at the bottom, that, as I said, for me, in no way I will trade, would have been successful. Gave you a beautiful framework that would have allowed you to make money. So here, let's focus on this for a second, okay? Let's remove the indicators and only look. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to remove the drawings. Let's remove the drawings and only look at the bearish breakers. This indicator, these settings, as I said, range look back is 3. I'm looking for within the last 3 ranges. I'm looking at anything between 10 and 11:30. Here, let's go even harder, right? Let's be even rougher. Between 9:30 and 11:30 and 1:30 and 15:45. Out of all of these, you have one bearish breaker that didn't work. Then you have one successful one, successful one, successful one, successful one. Then let's call this one an unsuccessful one, and this one as well. Let's just say you would have gone and stopped out there. Okay, cool. You could have taken all the ones that didn't work and only the one that did work, only one of the ones that did work, and came out profitable. Tell me my fucking model isn't profitable after seeing something like that. Of course, this is only one day and whatever, but you guys see me do this on the regular, right? Put the stop at the middle candle of the fair value gap. When I use a 3PD array rule and then my fair value gap is the last, yes, I use the middle candle, which I personally call the fair value gap candle. This is what the fair value gap is, a 3-bar pattern, but for when I'm referring to the fair value gap, I'm referring to that candle. Top of middle candle. Yes, in a bearish example, it would be the high of the middle candle. For a bullish example, bullish fair value gap, right, the low of the candle. Just to be extremely precise. As I said, a little bit of a time crunch tonight, but I do have a few minutes to answer any questions. I know we went over these trades quick, and for me, it was a very straightforward day. Clear bias and clear setups that were formed. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Look, all that I can tell you, Sulkin, is that with my trading model, the 3PD array stop loss rule has always given me the right stop loss, or the majority of the time is what I should say. I shouldn't say always. And the times that it's wrong, usually it's that I would have had the opportunity for a better stop loss, but then I had a little bit of a wider one. Can you talk about framing the model? Yeah, it starts with bias, right? Always. So I always have a direction I'm looking for, and then I use the daily movement, right? So the current daily structure to see if my bias aligns with that and to find trading ideas. So for example, today I could have just went for, hey, there's a London framework, I'm bearish, sure, but it's mainly higher time frame today, and we had clear objectives lower. But on my higher time frame, I'm looking for a bearish day. This means a full daily candle to be bearish. Okay, so I'm going to try and position myself with the expansion. The daily movement, the current daily structure confirms that. Why? Because we accumulated, and as we frame, we had a manipulation higher, confirmed with SMT. Now, this gives me all the ideas to look for shorts. I understand I have 10 a.m. news. Of course, we do have rules to trade a little bit earlier, but as we said, even if you took that loss, you would have had a successful trade. After the news, what am I framing to take a trade? I need a breaker block and a unicorn. which means an overlapping fair value gap or I have inversion fair value gap. The only reason why I couldn't take a setup is if my objective is already met. It has not been. If it doesn't offer enough risk to reward, it does. Or, well, I mean, that's it. Why am I adding something else? And then I enter and I take a 3PD array stop loss. Since December, only once it stopped me out, the 3PD array stop loss rule. Yes, sir, Alex. I love to hear that. Yeah, I'm working on the 3PD array stop loss. It's never the model, it's me. Well, I mean, I don't want to be cocky here, but in this case it is. Why? Because you see so many people, even just in this Discord, trading this model and being successful with it. So if you are not, then it's you executing the model. Now, you need to figure out what part of it is. Because you can't just say, oh, it's me, and then fucking grump around and be pissed and never become profitable. No, you actually have to self-analyze. Okay, what parts of it? Where am I having more trouble? Oh, is it finding the trades? Is it finding good objectives? Is it managing my trades? Is it my entries? Is it my stop loss? And once you find that error, then you can figure out how to make it better. You really, really do need. That's why taking notes of everything you do, everything you trade is super important in this space. I think what is hard is getting the right bias. I'm not going to lie to you, that is one of the easiest parts for me, but that has always been natural a little bit more. I've always been good at finding patterns and predicting stuff. And even when I wasn't trading any of this, and when I didn't even know who ICT was, so I didn't learn any of the content available from his concepts. Even before all of that, I was trading crypto, trading the 4-hour chart, and bias was a little bit, it was one of the easiest things for me, right? If you're having a hard time with bias, all that I can recommend is that you look at T-Trade's logic, right? So looking at purely candle patterns, which are available on Rise Statistics along with all the data that supports them, but you're looking at a 65 to 70% consistency on a bias only using candle patterns. Because your strategy isn't overcomplicated and quite simple and direct. Yes, sir, it is. It is. It doesn't need to be more complicated for me, right? I'm not looking to fine-tune everything. Are you talking about LLLC and HHHC? I have no clue what that is. I'm talking about how the current candle closed in relation to the previous one. For example, here, if we look at the previous day, well, actually, you see the previous day, it closed above the previous candle. So now your bias on this day would be the previous candle's high. See, in this case, even though it is successful, it's not a trade you could have taken. Trading New York. A lot of different things, actually. I could refer to some different things. But see, for me, bias is all about three things. It's about ranges, premium, and discount. And those premium and discount arrays. Not all of them, just the first one in premium, the first one in discount. How do you decide what days to skip? News. Pretty much, Magic. There are some specifics, for example, NFP week and with FOMC and with some important news. But pretty much, you can look in the resources tab, and in the Rise Trading Model post, there is a thread that is linked there. That is called Economic Calendar Thread. And the title of it is The Economic Calendar for ICT Traders, a Simple Framework. And in that, I have a PowerPoint pretty much where and what Alex just sent pretty much. You can download that. That is the PowerPoint. It outlines every single one of my rules with how I interact with news and how I find my trading days pretty much. So my whole framework into which days I trade and don't trade is in there. When I diverge from that, right? When I diverge from that is what I should have said, because sometimes I do like to trade some different days outside of that. I go half risk, and they're always explained in the announcement, right? Our Rise Weekly announcements, I always outline separately what days I'm going to be trading that are additional to that to keep you guys updated. And that's due mainly to experience, pretty much. Do we have any final questions before we call it a day here? I'm preparing for just the thumbnail, guys. All right, don't ask questions. Thank you for your time. It is my fucking pleasure. I enjoy doing these. I really, really think that they are one of the most valuable things you can provide to any single trader. Not just, hey, here's my model and here's some examples. No, every single day. What's the meaning of life? Work hard, play hard. Fair enough? I'm not a great example, guys. I enjoy my life quite a bit, and I work like an absolute monster. That is what life is for me. On those very inspiring words, I'm going to wish you all a great night. Good luck trading for tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see each other back on Thursday night for another one of these price action reviews. Enjoy, you guys, very much. Good night.